Carol? Yeah, I would, this is amazing. Like I said, my heart is already warm. Seeing all your faces, this is like the magic of United Way. It's so nice to see you all again. And I think probably most of you know each other, but we should definitely do a round of intros to start with and just maybe your name, where you're currently located, some version of what your United Way affiliation was or is, and then I don't know, we don't have like a cute question to ask you, but if anybody has a suggestion,
You
that'd
can
be
do a
awesome.
breakout room for cute questions.
And I am, well, actually, I'll come back to that in a minute. I'll pick on Barbara to start, and then Barbara, just popcorn it to the next person.
Okay, sounds good. So good to see everybody. Barbara Edmond. I'm at my home in Liberty, Maine today, and was in United Way for 26 years, 15 as CEO of United Way of York County, 9 at United Way Worldwide. And my only claim to fame is 2 points. One, I hired Kelli at United Way. And as she and Chris remind me, although I long ago forgot, I introduced the two of them. So
Thank you, Barbara.
Oh, amazing.
And I will turn it over to Janet. She's next on my screen.
Well, thank you, Janet Jackson. I am still living in Columbus, Ohio. I retired from the position of CEO of the United Way of Central Ohio in 2017. And then I became very involved with my city. My mayor had me work for him for 5 years, unpaid, I might say. So I chaired the Safety Advisory Council, which then was the founding mother of our first civilian police review board. So the board, I became the chair in April of 21. I only served 1 2-year term. So I stepped down in 23.
Awesome. Thanks, Janet. All right, I'm gonna popcorn for Janet over to Mike Durkin.
As Kelli said, I'm Mike Durkin, hanging out in the leafy western suburbs of Boston. My last duty assignment with United Way was with United Way Mass Bay for the last 14 or 15 years before retiring. And currently I'm working on trying to accumulate a large number of black walnut recipes.
About the most Mike Durkin thing I've ever heard.
Absolutely.
Mike, are you cracking them on your own? How are you cracking them?
Well, that's going to be the problem, man. But you don't live that far away, and I know you have really tough knuckles. So I was counting on some friends here. Yeah, that's going to be a problem.
My husband actually has figured out. I think he uses a vice grip.
Oh, man, that's a hell of an idea. Do you have black walnut trees?
We do.
Oh God, yeah.
We do. Yeah, yeah.
They
Nothing grows under them.
No. There you go. And I would turn it over to the guy who kept me sane during my time in Boston, Paul DeBasio.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah, Paul DeBasio. I'm currently up in New Hampshire, my home on Newfound Lake in the White Mountains. So enjoying a nice sunny day here. Spent 20 years in the United Way, many of it with Mike in Boston, but 5 years at the United Way Worldwide. So that's where I get to meet many of the folks that are on this here. And I'm going to turn it over to my first United Way idol I met at a first conference was a guy out in Twin Cities, but with the Boston roots, Tim Deitch. Good to see you, Tim.
Hey, Paul. Hey, guys. Yeah, Tim Deitch, St. Paul, Minnesota via Boston area. Well over 30 years with United Ways, 5 different United Ways, and then doing a lot of consulting since, still doing some with a few United Ways, which is great. Otherwise, mostly work in the private sector now, and loving life. So there you go. Rob, how about you?
Okay, Tim, nice to see you. Rob
Same here, buddy.
Reich-Snyder, career United Way professional. I finished up my career as the CEO of United Way of Greater Cincinnati for 18 years. and retired in 2018. Did some consulting work for United Way Worldwide for 3 years, and I've been doing a fair amount of volunteer work, including for United Way Next, and having lunch fairly regularly with Dick Aft, who I succeeded at United Way of Greater Cincinnati. So I'll turn it over to Dick.
Thank you, Rob. As Rob mentioned, I'm still here in Cincinnati, retired 23 years ago, did interim jobs in Columbus and Philadelphia, got a PhD, worked and still work with some new college presidents all over the country, and do a lot of volunteer work. Most recently, I've been elected to the International Classical Music Hall of Fame.
That's amazing.
Oh.
And let's see, I got to look at the list here. How about Regina Manning?
Hello. Hi, Dick. Thank you for that. I'm Regina Manning from Huntley, Illinois, which is about 50 miles northwest of Chicago, very close to the Wisconsin border. And I was actually a music major, speaking of music, and I ended up in advertising and marketing for most of my career. And after various buyouts, my whole department was laid off. So I found my way to United Way and worked there until I retired about a year and a half or so ago. And I'm assisting Carol with some proofreading and newsletter review, which I'm enjoying all the stories. And I just wanted to put some names to faces. So thank you for allowing me to share this afternoon with you.
Thanks, Regina. I'll popcorn it over to Doris. My favorite Minnesotan. Oh, I think you're on mute, Doris.
Doris, you're on mute.
You'd think we'd learn by now, don't you? And Doris Pegelkoff, and I head up the United Ways of Minnesota. There are 34 of them around the state. And I'm still working, but am going to retire next June.
Hooray! Congratulations. Awesome. Thanks, Doris. John MG.
Hey, hello, everybody. Good to see you. And how could I pass up a meeting with two of my favorite people in the world, Chris and Kelli? So it's great to be here, John MG. I'm actually in my 41st year in the system, believe it or not. I started when I was 6, yes. It was United Way's first Success by 6, in case you were wondering. I'm it. But presently, I am one of the regional engagement directors for United Way Worldwide, coming up on my 5th anniversary with Worldwide. Just since July 1, not only have been covering the Northeast, but now doing the Southeast. So I've got about 420 United Ways or so, and I've got, thankfully, a couple of folks helping me on our team, our East Coast team. So enjoying it. At this point in my career, some of you have already stated you're in consulting. Hey, this is what I want to do is help the next generation, so to speak, lead their community. So I'm having a great time. And I'll turn it over to Timothy, one of my local United Ways.
Hello, everybody. Timothy Johnson. I've been in the United Way network for 17 years now. I started off back home at United Way of New York City, then moved to United Way of Greater Philly in Southern New Jersey. It was United Way of Southeast PA when I moved there for 6 months. And then we inherited a whole bunch of United Ways, including the great John MG. Then moved to United Way of the National Capital Area. And I've been now at the United Way of the Bluegrass for the last 5 years, serving as president and CEO in Central Kentucky. So glad to see you all and meet many more. I'll popcorn it over to Kelli Waldron.
Excellent. Thank you. Good to see everybody. Kelli Waldron. I was with United Way Worldwide for about 8 years, from 2014 to 2022. Sorry, I'm not on camera. I'm using this as an opportunity to get a nice walk home from my office. I'm now at AARP for the last couple of years, and it's just really great to see everybody. I will turn over to Mike Kikorian.
AARP keeps emailing me. Go ahead, Mike.
Thanks, Kelli. Hi, everyone. Mike Krikorian. I started my United Way career in 2011 and spent 5 years working for Heart of West Michigan United Way in Grand Rapids, Michigan, before I moved over to the United Way Worldwide team and got to work for Paul and for Chris. And I was there for just over 7 years. I left in 2023. I'm now the Chief Development Officer at the National Office of the Family Promise Network, which, if you're not familiar, it's also a federated nonprofit. They have about 200 sites around the country, and they focus exclusively on eliminating family homelessness. So, and many United Ways fund them as a nonprofit. So excited to be here. And I'll pop it over to Paula.
So I was just like taking notes about all of my experiences, or my experiences with so many of you. So Paula Gilberto, Farmington, Connecticut. I was with United Way of Central and Northeastern Connecticut for 24 years, the last 6 as the CEO. Retired in March of 2022. But I was reflecting on my first experience working with anyone at what was then United Way of America, and it was Barbara Edmonds working on standards of excellence. And then how, over the course of the years, worked with Barbara and others in terms of the income. I was part of the income mobilization group, Barbara and Ann in terms of product development. Kelli, you have a through line through most of all of this. Chris, corporate partnership engagement. Jenny, my last official kind of work with United Way Worldwide was on membership accountability. And Durkin, I'm just going to skip over that whole period of time with Salesforce. But, clearly, Paul, Rob, Janet, Durkin, just incredible leaders. And Mike had an opportunity to work with you a bit. And I'm really happy to say we do have Family Promise here in Connecticut. And the church that I belong to is an avid supporter. So thank you for all of that. So it's been great. And I'm trying to figure out who has not. And John MG, met him late in my career when he became the regional engagement director. So how about we go to Edwin, who is phenomenal at Worldwide, and I'm so grateful for what you're doing for United Way Next.
And looking fresh to death in those shades.
Oh, well, thank you. And thank you, Paula. I'm coming in live from Springfield Estates Elementary. It's pickup. So if you hear children screaming in the background, there's nothing sinister happening. It's just, getting my daughter. I'm Edwin Gauthier. I used to lead innovation and strategy at United Way Worldwide. And before that, I was at United Way of North Central Florida in a number of roles, 15 years in the network total. Now I'm leading a startup that helps nonprofits achieve their mission with innovation and technology. But yeah, just really excited when I saw Chris and Kelli in my inbox. I was like, well, gotta go. And then so excited to see all of you all here. Who can I pass it to? I'm gonna pass it off to my good friend, Tony, down in South Florida.
Thank you, sir. Tony Hopper with United Way of Broward County, with United Ways for 24 years. So I feel like I'm still at United Way. I'm looking at like the Hall of Fame here. I mean, I'm like at the Masters dinner where everybody's wearing the green jacket and I'm at the superstar. So a lot of people that taught me a lot of things. Timothy, I was also born and raised in Lexington, Kentucky, a proud BBN nation. Worked at that United Way for 3 years as well. But anytime Chris Preston is speaking, I have to jump in. So excited about that. And I learned a lot more from Kelli than I did from Chris, but Chris and I have a few stories.
But you had more fun with me.
I'm not saying that either. Had fun with both of you, but a good friend of Chris Preston, so wanted to join in. So good to see everybody.
Yeah.
I think we have Jenny and Marissa and maybe Ann left.
There you go.
Jenny.
Hi, everyone. Jenny Palazzo. I am still at United Way Worldwide. Earlier this year, I transitioned to a role at Emergency Food and Shelter. And so hopefully I'll close out my career here over the next year plus, working on the humanitarian funding related to migrants. And I used to work for Kelli Kreps. I used to work for Paul DeBasio. And I actually still kind of sort of work for Kelli Kreps as a volunteer for NeighborShare. And Ann Fox, go ahead.
Thanks, Jenny. I'm also soaking up the last few warm rays of sunshine before we go into the gray mid-Atlantic winter. But anyway, hi, good to see all of you. Ann Fox. I started my career at United Way Berks County in Reading, Pennsylvania, then moved to Portland, Maine, and then ended at United Way Worldwide. I lose track of how many years it was. I don't know, just shy of 20, I think. And full circle, I'm now working again with United Way of Berks County, helping them prepare for their 100th anniversary, and still raising money from some of the tried and true community leaders here that were on board back in 1994, which is pretty crazy, but great to see all of you. And again, couldn't say no to Chris and Kelli. So glad to be here. And Marissa, I think you will close us out here. Thank you.
Amazing. My turn. My name is Marissa. I joined United Way first as a volunteer, maybe in like 2018 for Read Across America. And then I got hired on in for United Way of Kenosha County in like 2021. And I left my role earlier this year, and now I work in external affairs for a water utility company. And it's kind of funny right now, I'm submitting all of the United Ways in our districts to our charitable foundation for our campaign payments. So it's kind of fun to see it from the other side. Happy to be here today. Thank you.
Amazing. Thanks for being here, Marissa, and everybody. Seriously, I mean, I could hang up right now and my heart would be so full and happy. This is amazing. We obviously have tons of great connections across all of these times. Chris will probably want to be the one to tell this story, but Barbara, you noted you did indeed introduce us. For the maybe one person who doesn't know, Chris and I are actually married. We are a United Way love story. And, you know, even though we didn't start dating until, I don't know, a few years after I got to United Way Worldwide in 2012, Chris and I both distinctly remember Barbara introducing us. And so sometimes we'll just be like sitting in our house and like, oh my gosh, we're here and we're married. This is like a Barbara Edmond moment. And we refer to it affectionately as a Barbara Edmond moment. So Barbara, you're always a part of our story, and we have your cross stitch from our wedding 3 years ago proudly displayed in our home as well.
Absolutely.
And Chris was always supplying me with Dr. Pepper. Somehow
I'm drinking one right now.
That at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I needed a caffeine lift, and he watched me, I guess, in the building going to the Coke machine every day. And so every time we'd had a conference, I'd be doing sessions, and 3 o'clock, Chris would show up with the Dr. Pepper and just make my day.
I knew it. Yeah.
Can't be better than that.
And Mike Durkin, I'm surprised you didn't embarrass me with your story about my dating life, which was like you and I sitting in the back of Mary Gates, not paying attention in some meeting, and you were asking me how the dating scene was in DC. And I said it was incredibly hard to find a man who wasn't either gay, living in his parents' basement, or actually had a job. And then I found Chris.
I thought it was better for you to tell that story yourself.
Trifecta, that's right, Timothy. That's right, Timothy. I mean, obviously, you know, Kelli and I are together, and that's great. And we, you know, we have a United Way story. The one thing I always tell people is, you know, United Way is not a job; it's a way of life. So it doesn't surprise me that people met. You know, Timothy met his wife through United Way. A lot of others have as well. So, I mean, and just the connections we have. You know, we don't necessarily have to see each other all the time, but really close friends. I think about, you know, so many folks on this. You know, on this call, you know, I consider Timothy a brother from another mother. You know, Tony and I have known each other for 20 years now. So it's just great. And thanks to everybody for showing up. Kelli, what are you thinking? I know we want to, I guess, give an update on us and then possibly break out into some, you know, breakout rooms so people can connect a little bit, you know, more closely since we have so many folks here.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh yeah, Paul, you did have to manage both of us. I'm sorry. That was a lot. I know I was always the problem child. I was always like going out hunting, looking for stuff.
Well, let me tell you, my Chris and Kelli stories, they came to my house one time and I still didn't know they were dating. And my wife caught it first because Kelly put her hand on Chris's back going up the stairway so he wouldn't fall backwards. And I'm thinking, how did I miss this? I worked with both of them and I did not know they were dating. So I am just the most clueless person going, but no, happy you two got together. And I think I was around for some of those therapy sessions too, right? So there was a couple of bumps in the road, but
You were not blind, Paul. We just didn't want to be on the gossip mill. So like the first year we were dating, we really didn't tell anybody. And then it kind of started to, once I left, we decided it was fine. Too funny. Well, Chris and I recently, we got married 3 years ago. We were living in Arlington. We recently moved to Reston, so deep in the suburbs of suburban DC. So we're closer to Chris's son, CJ now, which is a total blast. He's playing basketball and volleyball and turning into an upstanding citizen. So we're incredibly proud of him and it's fun to be closer to him. Chris, I'll let you give kind of the update on your professional stuff. We didn't really do our intros and I can as well. And then, yeah, would love to just kind of do maybe breakout rooms and catch up a little bit more with each other.
Yeah, but before I get to myself, I want to shout Kelli out in front of everyone. She is, I mean, obviously an amazing wife, but like the perfect stepmom. I mean, it's really cool the relationship that she and CJ have developed over the years. And he actually has his first girlfriend, and he's gone to Kelli for advice more so than me. I think he's a little embarrassed to come to old dad, but he's so for example, we go on Sunday morning walks when he's with us, and I was doing some work, and normally Kelli goes, "Hey, bud, we'll go on our walk. You want to wait on dad to be about a half hour, or do you want to go now?" And he's like, "Let's go now. Let's go now." And then like a minute into the walk, he's asking Kelli for advice on how to ask this young lady to be his girlfriend. So it's so cute. And he's a big kid. He's like 5'11", got a little mustache on. He's 13, but like he's so shy, like kind of naive. So it was really cute to see him and Kelli interact there. So Kelli, thanks for helping me out because I'm not good with that stuff.
Nope.
Yeah. And in terms of professionally, you guys have 22 years with United Way. I put this out on LinkedIn if folks saw it. So at the end of July, I transitioned from Chief Development Officer at United Way Metro Chicago to being Senior Advisor to Sean. Just getting back home. I mean, part of the deal was getting back closer to CJ. For those of you who don't know, I've been with United Way Metro Chicago for the past 2.5 years. And the weekly commute it got to me a little bit, but at the same time, I realized like for those of you who have older children, that middle school transition is a tough one. And I didn't want to miss 2 years of that. So just excited to be home a little bit more, getting to see him during the week, like doing things like taking him to lift weights and stuff like that has been really exciting. So exciting times for me transitioning. I'll be with Sean and the Chicago team as we onboard our new Chief Development Officer, doing that through the end of the year, and then working with a few local United Ways, a few historically Black colleges, and also learning the for-profit fundraising side. So looking to do some capital fundraising for some real estate development deals. So I'm excited. I get to see, Kelli's lovely face more now. And she just yells at me because I'm a loud talker. I even chew loud, I guess. I don't know, for like Timothy, who breaks bread with me a lot. I'm sorry if I chew loud. I don't know. Yeah. So that's me. Kelli, about you?
Yes, you saw all the memes when we went into COVID and you had to suddenly start sharing work from home spaces with spouses and loved ones about learning that they're that loud talker or that person who uses the word synergy all the time. And Chris is indeed a loud talker, but I will love him always. Let's see. So I obviously, a couple of you have mentioned this. I was with the United Way system for just over 10 years, first in Toledo and then at United Way Worldwide, leading the US network engagement team. I left in 2018 and started my own freelancing business. So worked with a few of you then. Actually just sort of reminded of this, Tim Deitch, like the strength of the network. I remember calling Tim like, "Hey, I think I'm going to do this. And I know you've been doing this for a long time. And like, what advice do you have for me?" And he was so generous and like advice and insights and so forth. And so like, just like endlessly grateful for this group, but started doing that for a little bit. And got what I wanted, like a little bit more experience in different things and diversifying kind of my experience. And then toward the end of 2021, I actually got introduced to a startup nonprofit that I think is innovating on a couple of things in the way we do direct to consumer philanthropy. A couple of you mentioned this, I think. It's called NeighborShare, and we source emergency and pivotal moments of needs for households across the country through direct service organizations already working with families. They put them on our platform, and then our community of donors is meeting the need within 14 days. So we are removing the red tape to accessing just-in-time help, and injecting a bit of trust and credibility into the crowdfunding space and sort of how we source those needs, and then give everyday folks the opportunity to donate for as little as $10 or up to sort of the full need, which can be $400. So that has been incredibly fun. And as you all know, I mean, I've heard 100 people say this, and I'm sure you all feel this way as well. United Way just so prepares you for different things. Like, you just get such a depth and breadth of experience that building this thing now, I just feel completely prepared for, and it's just been a ton of fun. And as Jenny mentioned, she's one of our star volunteers. She helps us vet and onboard our new nonprofit partners and advise us on everything from our 990 to how to get our charity navigator stuff straight and everything in between. So she's been unbelievable, and of course would welcome anybody who ever wants to get involved and volunteer with us. I just think we're building something special. So that's what I've been spending my time doing lately, and it's been a lot of fun. And I think that's probably about it, right? Chris, anything else we're missing?
No, I think your point about the network, I mean, it's really been amazing just in terms of people that are, still with United Way, people that aren't with United Way anymore. You just develop lifelong friendships. So that's really been cool, over these past 22 years. So just to yeah, elaborate on that.
And
I just, Kelli, have to give you a shout out because in part of her consulting roles, we snagged her to actually work for United Way Next, then United Way Retirees. And she worked with us and lived with us as we did the name change, which was lots of trying times and wringing hands. But as I've often said to Carol now, people can't even remember our old name. The United Way Next just rolls off of people's tongue. So thank you, Kelli, for all your good work there too.
Well, thanks, Barbara. And that's a really good segue too. I mean, poor Barbara, poor Paul, poor Carol, poor Anne. I have been a very squeaky wheel with, I know, others as well, about how we sort of be more inclusive of alumni and sort of expand that base. And I was just kind of doing a quick tally at the start. We actually, I think, have more even alums than retirees on this particular call, which is amazing. And to Chris's point, like, really just want to emphasize the strength of the network. We all have so many different experiences and so many different things to offer. And there's like another network I'm a part of too, where it's like, we almost open these calls with like, what do you need and what do you have to offer? And so I think that would be the lens I'd ask everybody to just kind of think through on this call, and whether we talk about it in breakouts or you throw something in the chat or even speak up, like, if you need an introduction to something, to somebody, an introduction to a certain company through what you're doing now, if you are looking advice for something like that, like, just encourage you to really look around and draw on this group. And there's just such like strength and wisdom and so much experience and so much networking within this group. And so as we kind of expand the reach and sort of value add of that, just excited to see that continue to grow. So this is where Chris had a much more structured agenda than I did. And I was like, oh, let's just catch up and see where it goes.
Well, I would say let's have a breakout. Some people may not have things to talk about, others do.
Yeah.
You don't have things to talk about. Maybe some of your favorite United Way memories, or who's helped you in the network, right? And then, as Kelli said, just how we can help each other. One of my mentors in Chicago has just said, just keep being a giver and don't worry about anything else. So I think most of us on this call are already doing that. So we can talk about how we can support each other in the breakouts as well. So Carol, you have the magic. I don't know how to do the breakout, so maybe we get that going.
I got the magic, and I'm so proud of myself because I'm the tech person today. So I've got you all assigned in rooms. I tried to be intentional about where you're placed. Please don't take it personal if you ended up in a room and you say, why did she put me here? But a few people have just jumped off, so it's messed up my rooms a little bit. So Kelli and Chris, I made you co-hosts so you can move around if you freely decide, you want to check around with a few other groups, but I would just say we've got 12 minutes for you all to just connect and take some time to get to know each other better. And if for any reason you say, you know what, I need to move to a different room, you can just move yourself back to the room and I'll put you wherever you want to go. So I'll do my best and enjoy this time, right? This is really all about making connections and finding out what others are up to these days. And so, as Kelli said, if there's something we can do to help make introductions or connect you to people, that's what Next is all about. So without further ado, I'm gonna make the move.
I wanted to just say, Carol, I was trying to get out of my room. I was in with Mike Durkin, and it wasn't working, but something happened and I couldn't get out. So
Too much black justice conversation. I don't know.
Mike,
I can't take that. I'm leaving.
Are you driving? Wait, Mike, are you driving off in your K car?
No, it's in the shop right now. Glad to tell that story on another broadcast, though.
Amazing.
So how was that? Yeah, I'm curious. Does anybody have anything they want to share or something they learned about someone they didn't know?
Well, I'll share something. I mean, one of the things I think about now for many of us, we're in that phase of life where we talk about our children, right? So Chris, you talked about CJ, and I met CJ. He's a great upstanding man for sure. But I was in a room with Tim Deitch, and I knew a little bit about his daughter being aspiring ballerina. She's a professional ballerina. So talk about feeling good about what your child's doing. Professional ballerina. So Tim, congratulations to you, your wife, and your daughter on that. That's wonderful.
Thank you, Paul, which is amazing because I'm basically built like a fire hydrant. And so to look at me, you would have no reason to believe that I was involved in her being, and maybe the jury's still out, but I think, yeah, very proud. Thank you. Thank you. And Mike, I want learning that Mike has indeed finished all 50 states with a half marathon. That is
impressive.
And you look like you're 30. So or 20.
Yeah, I wish I was 30, but
yeah. You don't feel it, no doubt, right?
It's the Zoom filter.
Well, highlights from our room. Tony's almost got his kids off the payroll. Janet has had her 3rd back surgery, but is on the road to recovery. So send her positive vibes. And we also talked a little bit, this was the heartwarming part too for me. Paula had a bit of a traumatic accident earlier this year as well. And Paula, I was just like really touched by what you said about the United Way Next sort of network and crowd getting you through, that it's giving you like a sense of purpose and connection and so forth. And so we're happy that you're here with us to share today. And just like, again, another moment of gratitude for this group. What else?
I want to give a shout out to Marissa. She commented in the chat, but she's on mute right now, that she thought it was really fun that when she got this moment of, oh, wow, that's probably why Carol put us in the room, because Dick Aff's first United Way was where she lives closest in Aurora, Illinois, and Regina's was born 30 minutes away from Marissa. So who would have known, right? I'm sorry, but I just put them all together because I thought they probably could benefit from just getting to know each other. So how fun was
And
that?
we did. It was wonderful.
That's great. Oh, on the piano. Okay. What else good happened in your groups? Let's leave us with a note of inspiration.
Well, I'm going to say I can't believe, Edwin, that your daughter's in elementary school. It's just like, how has time gone this quickly now, right? I mean, my goodness, remember you got married and now daughter's in elementary school. So that must be fun. That's a great age, a real good age group there. So I'm sorry I didn't get to up in your group there, but yeah.
No, we'll catch up. It's another United Way love story. I got vetoed on naming my daughter Frances Wisepart Jacobs Goutier. We can, in this group, we can call her Franny if we want, I guess. We'll just make it happen.
I love it.
That's awesome.
I love it.
All right, we'll have to catch up, Edwin.
Yeah, for sure, Paul.
Well, here's what I'm going to suggest. These social hours are really intended for exactly what just happened today. It's just all of you connecting to each other. Some of you know each other really well. Obviously, all the inside jokes that were shared at the beginning. I don't know if it's clear to all of you, but I have been smiling this whole time. And this is exactly the same feeling we had last fall when we did a holiday gathering. And it was a cocoa with Carol Peters and Carol Berger as our co-hosts. And it was a ton of fun. And I remember Kelli being a part of that, which is really what inspired me to say, hey, would you like to host one of these so we can get some of our alumni together that don't often see each other, and anyone, right? And so I'm so grateful that Kelli and Chris were willing to co-host this today and just bring all of you together. We had 38 people registered, which is a large group for this type of social hour. And at the height of this, we had 23 people. Many of them had to step off for other meetings and things. So, again, thanks to Kelli and Chris for bringing us together. I would highly recommend that we do another one of these after the first of the year, and that will be even another opportunity for all of you to reconnect. So I'm going to challenge you all. We currently have an RFP that's out for a request for presenters, but you don't have to be presenters. You could just host a social hour, and that I'll make sure in the follow-up email that goes out with the recording link. If you're interested in co-hosting with someone, find a friend and submit it so that we can get 4 to 6 social hours out there next year, which could be a ton of fun. So people like Tim Johnson, who maybe hasn't joined one of our next calls, could co-host Tony Hopper as current United Way staffers, right? Could be a ton of fun. Or Tim and Paul obviously have a connection. It'd be great to, have a variety of you involved. And Janet Jackson, I would just love for you to co-host something with somebody that you would enjoy being a part of. So with that said, we can keep it open for as long as you all want. Feel free to, stick around. I'm here until we hit the hour. And if there's anything else anyone wants to share, feel free. The last thing I'll share about our future events is we do have a United Way Worldwide Town Hall coming up on October 31st. So if you haven't registered and you're interested in knowing more about the United Way brand refresh, Amoya Kinney will be here to speak with us. I just met with her this morning. If you haven't met her, she is delightful. She's just a great person. And she shared that she and Angela Williams were leaving today to go up to Valdosta, Georgia, and spend time in the state of Georgia this week with some of the United Ways that have been hit really hard by the hurricane, which isn't the hardest hit area compared to some of the others. So for all of our friends that are out there that have really endured a lot of hardship with this crazy weather we've experienced, we're sending our love and our strength and peace to all of you, because so many people have been impacted. So anyway, with that said, Kelli and Chris, I'll turn it back to you guys and we'll take it from there.
Go ahead, babe.
Close out, Kelli.
Again, just grateful to see you all today. This was super fun. Hopefully you enjoyed the breakout sessions. Reach out if there's ways you can help, whether you're at a local United Way, whether you're doing your own consulting business. I just think there's so many ways we can connect and share as an alumni network. So I'm excited to keep exploring that and building that together.
Absolutely. Thanks everybody for coming out. Really appreciate it. It's great to catch up.
Thanks, everybody. Good to see you.
All right.
Be well.
Be well, guys.
Stay cool.
Kelli Waldron, Kelli, send me a note. Tell me what you're up to, Kelli.